Welcome to Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. I'm here to teach government, and I have an interesting topic to teach you today. Follow me. Nationalism movement in British West Africa. The objective of today's topic. At the end of the lesson, highlight nationalist movement in British West Africa. 2. Discuss nationalist movement in British West Africa. So we are going to highlight and talk about some nationalist movements in West Africa. West Africa is a place that is colonized by Britain. The British colonized the West Africa, and we speak a language which is called, there's a language that unified us, which is called English language. So there are some nationalist movements that came up on board to fight against colonialism of the British government. We have 5 countries in West Africa region: Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, Gambia, and Sierra Leone. So one of the nationalist movements in British West Africa is WASSCE, West Africa Students' Union. It was formed in 1925 by Chief Ladipo Solanke of Nigeria. Solanke formed the West Africa Students' Union to fight against colonialism, to also ensure that higher institution is being established in Nigeria. That's one of the objectives. Higher institution is being established in Nigeria. After you are done with your secondary school, you have to go to England to further your education. No, they fought for it that let Nigeria also have their own, not Nigeria only, Africa should have their own higher institution, whereby after secondary school, they can also further more in their education. The second national movement in British West Africa is NCBWA, National Congress of British West Africa. It was formed in 1920 by Joseph Ephraim Kesley Efford of Ghana and Dr. Akinwande Savage of Nigeria. NCBWA was formed to fight against colonial rule, colonial masters, and also to introduce some things in Africa. Because when they came, they introduced indirect rule, which does not allow Nigerians, educated Nigerians, to be part of the government. So people like Kesley Efford and Akinwande Savage and other people too, they went to London as a delegate to write their demands. One of their demands is the establishment of newspaper in Africa, the emergence of political party in Africa, and also electoral principles, whereby Africans can also go out and vote. These are one of their principles, what they want. And they achieved some of them, and also to gain independence too. They achieved some of their objectives. One of the nationalist movements in British West Africa is Pan-African movement, also known as Pan-Africanism. What is Pan-Africanism? Pan-Africanism is the love, the desire some people have towards Africa, seeing African culture as the best, seeing Africa as the only thing you can ever think of, seeing Africa first before anything in the world. So it was formed by African in diaspora. Diaspora means outside Africa. Like Britain, we are abroad, countries that are not in Africa, outside Africa. That's the meaning of diaspora. When you're living outside your country, you are in diaspora. So Africans in diaspora means African living in other countries of the world. In West Indies and USA by Edwin Billin, Liberia, Marcus Garvey, W.E. Dubis in 1918 in Paris, France. That was when they founded that Pan-Africanism League or Congress. The fourth one, NYM, Nigeria Youth Movement. It was formed in 1935 by Kesley Efford, Dr. G.C. Vaughan, and Samuel Akinsoya. It was formerly called LYM in 1934. That is Lagos Youth Movement. The movement happened in Lagos. That's why it was called Lagos Youth Movement. It was not changed in 1935 to Nigeria Youth Movement. Their movement is to fight for Nigeria and Africa independence. It's not only centered in Nigeria alone. They went to other countries in West Africa, the 5 countries I mentioned that speak English language, to fight for Nigeria, to fight for their rights, to fight for African rights, to fight for our independence as a continent and as a nation state. The last one, Gold Coast Aborigine Rights Protection Society. This organization came in 1897 by John Mesha Jembag, Gold Coast lawyer. This organization also fought for Africans because at that time, during colonial administration, when they were ruling us, they practiced what we call discrimination, whereby they discriminated us in our own land. There's some part of Africa that is meant for them, only for them. Africans are not meant to leave that place. Mostly in GRAs were created for them only. Africans were not allowed to live there. And also there's disparity in the civil service too. Those at the top are British. Those at the top, the managers, those administrative heads are for British. Only clerical works that is only for Africans only. This is discrimination. So they fought against discrimination in our own continent.
Acing your WAEC and NECO examinations has been made easy by the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education with the Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO Candidates television program. Join seasoned teachers as they take you through these core subjects, targeting the exact syllabus of WAEC and NECO. Watch Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates through these social media platforms to access more educational content and give their feedback. Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. Pass your examinations with flying colors.
Eko Learners Support, a support program of the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education for WAEC and NECO candidates.
Revision questions. 1. Highlight 3 nationalist movements in British West Africa. 2. Discuss 3 nationalist movements in British West Africa. They managed to mention 4. They managed to mention 5. They managed to give you 6. But this nationalism, you can never do without it in both WAEC and NECO. It's very, very important. You know it. It's very, very important. You have to study hard to know it. One of the answers to these revision questions are: number 1, I like 3 nationalist movements in British West Africa. Number 1 is WASSCE, West Africa Students Union. I've explained that. 2, NCBWA, National Congress of British West Africa. 3, Pan-African Movement or Pan-Africanism. 2. The second question is: discuss 3 nationalist movements in British West Africa. WASSCE, West Africa Students Union. It was formed in 1925 by Chief Ladipo Solanke of Nigeria. NCBWA, National Congress of British West Africa. It was formed in 1920 by Joseph Ephraim Kesley Efford of Ghana and Dr. Akinwande Savage of Nigeria. The last answer is Pan-African Movement or Pan-Africanism. It was formed by African diaspora, e.g. in West Indies and USA by Edward Billin, Liberia, Marcus Garvey, W.E. Dobbs in 1918 in Paris, France. I've come to the end of today's topic. If you have any question, comment, inquiry, you can reach us in any of our social media platforms on the screen. Have a wonderful day.